Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
I'm Trish.
And today we're continuing our playthrough of Legend of Legaia, covering up until we kick Zeto's ass.
Yeah.
But before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
It was very good because I played Astrobot.
Hell yeah.
I 100%ed Astrobot because Astrobot is the best fucking video game. I love it so much. And now I don't know what to do with my life because I've got the Platinum Trophy. I've done everything in the game. Holy shit, it's so good.
Did you Platinum the first one already?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
you need to go buy a PSVR 1 and Platinum the other Astrobot game.
I am furious that there's an Astrobot game that I can't play because it's on the fucking PSVR 1. I'm hoping it's maybe just not that good even. But I played Astro's Playroom first this week, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. This is pretty good. It has the gimmick levels where you jump in like a suit and the control style changes, and I thought those were tiresome. But other than that, it was really, really good. And then I get to Astrobot, and I'm like, holy shit, this is maybe Game of the Year. This is incredible. And the suits are replaced with power-ups, which don't replace the core mechanics. They add on to the core mechanics and are not tiresome at all. They are amazing.
Mm-hmm. And they kept the only good one of the suits was the monkey, and they just put that one in wholesale. You now just have the monkey on your back, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, you can do monkey things and regular things. It's the game is so good, and it, and Sony can be evil, of course, but the PlayStation brand, the PlayStation identity, the PlayStation as just a thing you enjoy, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And however, I did because Death Stranding is one of Maddie Grace's favorite games, I sent her a picture of the Sam Porter Bridges Astrobot, and she said Astrobots are, quote, giving Funko Pop, unquote, and I got so mad because she's right.
Yeah.
But I don't like that she's right.
Yep. Partway through, when I found the Dartfeld Astrobot, and then the Rudy Roughright Astrobot, and then the Igus Astrobot, I was like, man, I want these figures. And then I look up at my wall, and I'm like, oh, I already have like 12 of these figures.
So, I understood some of the words you both have said.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, I do.
When you talk about Cosmere or the other thing, Doctor Who.
Fair. That's fair.
Astrobot does the one thing that made me realize that Super Mario Odyssey was fantastic and was going to change the game forever, is because Yooka-Laylee didn't have this. But there will be times where you're like, I think I can make that. I think I can make this stupid jump. I wouldn't do it. There's no reason to. There's nothing over there. I'm going to make this stupid jump. And you get over there, and there's coins. And they're like, here you go. You deserve it. And Mario Odyssey is all about that. There's been some times where I'm like, I think I'm glitching the game. There's no way this is supposed to be a real thing. And you get up there, and the developers left coins. They're like, you got it, bro. And Yooka-Laylee had this huge, like a solar system room, and you're supposed to go up in one corner and find one secret, but I was going to every corner and it was empty, and I was like, oh yeah, I was spoiled by Mario Odyssey, and Yooka-Laylee being pushed back the 6 months to come out after Mario Odyssey now makes it suck. I wouldn't have even noticed if I hadn't have already played Odyssey. And Astrobot is just like that. Like, basically every tree is walk-onable, and you almost never need to walk on a tree for the critical path, or even for the bonus paths, but almost every tree has coins in it, because they're like, you found a way how to get up here, you deserve it, have a coin.
Yeah.
That's so good! Yeah, as someone who grew up on the Banjo games, and Donkey Kong 64 and loves collectathons, I was listening about Yooka-Laylee, and then when I found out that most people said it sucked, I was like, damn, that's too bad. I was actually really hoping to get a new collectathon game. Oh well.
Yeah.
And then
It's
Odyssey was incredible, and it wasn't really a collectathon, but it made me happy.
Yeah, so the worst thing about Ukulele is it came out 3 months after Super Mario Odyssey. If Super Mario Odyssey wasn't in the conversation when Ukulele came out, everyone would have been like, "Oh hell yeah, N64 platformers are back." But then they made a better N64 platformer before they could get there, and so
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey is the best game to come out on the Switch in its launch year. Fight me.
yeah.
I don't know if I agree, just because I don't remember what games came out. Time is an illusion.
What I'm saying is
And
it's
so is
better than
Death.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, he's importantly saying it's better than Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade Chronicles. Nothing else in the first year is really the
Honestly,
all-timer like those three.
completely agreed. Completely agreed. I love Zelda. I love Mario and Zelda deeply. I love Zelda more than Mario in general. But Mario Odyssey is a better game than Breath of the Wild, and I will stand with you on that front.
Thank you.
Mhm.
But then again, I'm
Though
like
I did
weird.
specifically request Fight Me.
Of course. Oh, I'm not gonna fight you. I chose friendship instead. I did the button combo. I am the weird Zelda fan that I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are really fun to play, but they're not my favorite Zelda games because of the things that aren't gameplay. Anyway,
Yeah.
my week. I'm on my second week at my new job. Making
Yay!
money. And this was my first week actually doing overnight shifts, which is what I'm going to be doing. That's the point of me being hired, is I'm an overnight girl. And I believe I talked about last week how finding out I could read on the job. They don't like using phones, but I could read on the job. So my brain was like, ooh, I could read on the job. Oh, well, then I'm going to check out some books from my local library. And I did that. I read almost 4 books this week.
Nice.
I am probably going to talk at least about a little bit about each of them in the post show. Not right now, but I'm just reading a lot of books now, and I'm like looking forward to this job. I'm going, oh boy, I'm going to be reading a lot of books. Yay! I have a thing that forces my ADHD brain to sit down and read because it's the most entertaining thing to do. Incredible! I'm so happy. I missed reading so much. So that's great. I've done a number of other things that, again, I'm probably going to want to talk about in the post show. But the other thing I want to talk about is me and my sister hung out last night. And I say last night, I haven't slept because I'm working a night job, but I'm also about to go on vacation. In a couple of days, me and my wife are being flown out across the country to the West Coast where I'm from, so I can go spend time with my parents. Because my dad, I don't know how long he's going to be around, so they want us to spend time with them, and I love that. But that means I need to switch my sleep schedule because there's no point in going there if I'm going to be sleeping all day and awake at night. That literally betrays the point. So I need to reverse my sleep schedule quickly. So I'm awake when I shouldn't be, and I will persist as much as I need to. But anyway, I was hanging out with my sister. We try to do like weekly hangouts when we can. And we finished watching One Piece live action, which, by the way, I think I've said this on the podcast before. If you haven't watched One Piece live action, it's really good. Also, One Piece is just extremely good, and if I'm going to recommend any kind of One Piece, I recommend the manga. But if you want like an amuse-bouche to a sample taster to get you into the franchise, the live action series is really good. I have my nitpicks, but it's very good. We finished that, and we didn't know what to watch next, and we were looking at different things, and a lot of the suggestions were things that I've seen and she hasn't. And she was like, I want to get your fresh take on something. I was like, okay, let's watch something neither of us have seen. A show called Gotham Knights that came out last year, had 1 season, and then didn't get renewed.
A show called Gotham Knights?
It's a show called I know, completely unrelated from the video game Gotham Knights from 2022. This is Gotham Knights 2023. It is a CW show that lasted 1 season, and I'm only 4 episodes in, but I'm both extremely upset that we only got 1 season, but also kind of glad because CW shows that are DC shows that I've seen tend to suck after the first season. So, I'm I don't like. I'm kind of glad it's a Firefly and not a show that just kept going until it got bad.
Like
Uh,
Arrow
like
or The
Arrow
Flash.
or The Flash. So quick pitch. The main character is a teenager who was orphaned at a young age and was adopted by Bruce Wayne. His name is not Dick Grayson. It's not Jason Todd. He's not a canon character. He's a completely new character. Had no clue his dad's Batman up until this happened like he's been Batman Bruce Wayne's son for like 5+ years. It's kind of unclear, but for a while. Batman's like Bruce Wayne is his dad as far as he's concerned. And then unexpectedly, Bruce Wayne dies, and everyone finds out he was Batman. And also, some people get framed for that crime, including Duella Doe instead of Dent, comic character, Harper Row, Stephanie Brown's in the plot as well, and then the Bruce Wayne's son character himself gets indicted as the person who, like, he's framed for having paid for the assassination to go through. And so they all have to go on the run together and try to solve this mystery. And it's a lot of just like C and D tier. I feel bad saying that. A lot of periphery Batman characters and original characters put together. Really strong script. Queer as fuck.
It has both girl Robins in it.
Yeah, it has Carrie Kelly and Harper Row and Stephanie Brown.
I didn't even know Harper Row was
she wasn't a Robin. She was Bluebird, but whatever.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Stephanie Brown. I don't love this version of Stephanie Brown, but it's a live-action version of Stephanie Brown, and I know what they're going to do with her later in the series, and I'm very excited with it. Also, Harper Row's brother, who I believe is a character who has existed in the comics and other media, this show decided to make him a trans guy and have him played by a trans guy. And holy fuck, I genuinely, if you asked me to name like 5 other trans mask characters in popular media, I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think. And that's partially on me, but that's also partially just trans mask characters don't show up nearly as much as trans femme characters. And so it's really sweet. Also, there's like weirdly some like ACAB-y stuff in the show. So I'm super vibing with it. I'm really enjoying it. Also, Misha Collins is Harvey Dent, and that threw me at first, but I'm getting used to it. But yeah, so far really enjoying it. I can't wait to see where the show goes. Also, though, it made me realize, I love watching shows with people, but I'm starting to realize that if I'm watching a DC thing that I haven't seen yet with someone, it's an annoying as hell experience for the other person, because every so often they'll say a character's name and I will go, oh, it's this character, and I have to start talking about the character, and I truly cannot stop myself. They say the word Duella, and my brain's like, oh, Duella, like Duella Dent, oh, like the Joker's daughter, like the Teen Titan, and I apologize on air officially to my sister for what I put you through tonight. Sam, what about you? What have you been up to?
So I had a great segue from Bernard's thing, but I always go last, so I didn't get the segue. But it's okay. But I also read four books this week, but I can't talk about them because they're all Brandon Sanderson books.
Thank you for your restraint.
Yeah, Mistborn and Era 2 are all short books. They're all 7 to 12 hour books instead of bigger than that. And I've been blasting through them, and they were a dang good time. And I'm about an hour away from the end of the last one, and I recorded this podcast instead of telling you guys, oh man, I got to do something for an hour. I'll be ready in an hour. So appreciate that. But
I look forward to your thoughts on the last hour of Lost Metal, because it's a fucking doozy, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm already in the denouement, so...
Okay, oh, you're in the denouement. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
God, I didn't realize that's how long the denouement takes. Crap.
Yeah, it's because it's a end of series denouement, so they gotta wrap up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Last thing that happened was Marcy said, actually, no thanks. So... yeah.
My gay heart. She had such a sapphic plot. Her subplot in that book is so goddamn gay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ultimate subtext is screaming at me character in all of the Cosmere.
Yes, agreed.
Um, other than that, I have also been playing a Game of the Year contender all week. Uh, I got my copy of Echoes of Wisdom early, and so I've been playing a shitload of Echoes of Wisdom. I have only completed one dungeon, but
Ooh.
because this is a uh, a game after Tears of the Kingdom's Own Heart, I have done a lot of stuff in this game. Uh, the short, super cool, awesome part of it is you get to have an echo of every single enemy type that you defeat. And so that's how you get your like power scaling, is you'll be able to go out and like kill a moblin and you'll get it, and then you'll find the next uh moblin that's like a stronger version. So you can use your moblin plus creativity to get the next moblin, and then that's how you like level up your combat prowess and stuff. And because of that, and the fact that so in Tears of the Kingdom, the answer to every puzzle was Big Bridge. The answer to every puzzle in Echoes of Wisdom is bed stairs. So I've been making bed stairs everywhere, climbing mountains with beds, and finding all the little things. And there's here's a microscopic look of one of the reasons I love this game so much. So there's a single puzzle for a single heart piece, and you come down the this ladder and you go into one of this side scrolling sections. Where you come down from the ladder, you only have the square where the ladder is, an empty square to your right, and then you have two boulders next to you. You only can grab and move one boulder at a time, but because you grab and move it with Ultra Hand, you don't have to necessarily be right by it to move it. And so you have to move one boulder out of the way to put it in the empty spot behind you, and then move the other one into a hole so you can jump over it and go and get the heart piece. So I sit there forever trying over and over again to use the ladder to grab the thing and like inch it over inch by inch until it goes into the hole so I can move the other one and go and do it. And it takes me forever, and it's so finicky because the load zone on the ladder is way too low on this part of the level, probably on purpose because they probably wanted people to not do it the way I was doing it to let me know this was not a correct solution. However, they managed to do it, and everything was I got the heart piece. I was super excited, super stoked. I go up and there is an obvious patch of ground where you can dig right next to that ladder, and if you dig in that hole you fall down on top of the heart piece underneath. But I sat there and I did it the most complicated way possible because this game lets you do whatever the fuck you want, and it was fantastic. And there's a lot of that.
Delightful.
There's a lot of that everywhere in this game, and I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm very surprised that it seems nobody else is playing it, but Metaphor Fantasio's demo came out, so that's where all of our freaks on our podcast are playing. So I'm playing Echoes of Wisdom by myself, and I love it.
When you said you were also playing a Game of the Year contender, I thought for even though I know you were playing Echoes of Wisdom, my brain was like expecting you to be semi-ironically saying some Digimon game or something.
No, we haven't had one of those in a couple years, but when we do, it's on.
Like Donkey Kong.
Yes. Speaking of things that are
Like
on like Donkey
Donkey
Kong, let's turn off the mist generator and talk about what happened.
uh, So, last week we went through a lot of trouble all to get a key, which magically makes River dry up. And now that the water level's lowered, you can get to a chest that was under the water, which gives you another book, which can teach a hyper move to Noah. But more importantly, you can cross back to the overworld and head towards the Byron Monastery. I mean, you could also try to head into those heavily mist-covered areas, and there are items to find in every single location where you can, like, kind of poke a little bit in that place for doing so. But you can't go further than that. Your Raw Seru refused to go that way. So, time to go to the monastery. Getting inside is really neat because they have a chamber that locks you from progressing further until you hit a lever which siphons the mist out of the room. And then to leave, you have to reverse that from any exit. It's kind of like a pressurization chamber sort of thing. Uh, Inside, of course, there are a bunch of monks who are lukewarm, shall we say, to meet our heroes. Like, sure, you're revitalizing the Genesis trees and you're clearing the world of the mist, but you're using raw Seru to do it, and their whole way of life is that human beings don't need Seru.
Even before the mist came, they were like, our order is an order about not using Seru because
Yes.
we're too cool for that.
Yes. Anyway, you quickly get an idea to the internal politics by walking around and talking to folks. There's the leader, Master Zopu, who wants to see the protags later in private, and he has two proteges. His number 2 is Songi, who is red and arrogant, but also kind of badass. And also Master Teacher, who some there in the monastery say actually might be stronger than Songi. Songi's really interested in the hero's raw Seru, and wouldn't mind getting one himself, while Master Teacher is of the mind that the less he has to do with Seru, the better. Doesn't want to touch this stuff. No way, no how. But enough about the monks. Maya's here. By which I mean, May's mother, who we came here to find. She's alive and well, and really glad to see Vaughn after so long. They promise to talk later after a big dinner that's held for the visitors, and after said meal, Vaughn tells Maya about the fact that her husband is dead, and that her daughter is grieving and needs her. She's heartbroken by this news, obviously, but when they ask for her to go back to Rim Elm with them, she says she is to be alone. Master Zopu, having heard of what the intrepid duo has been doing, asks them to go to 2 nearby forests and revive their Genesis trees as well. One's to the northwest, others to the northeast. You're given an illusion of choice here, but ultimately Vaughn and Noah are sent to the West Vaz Forest along with Master Teacher, who actually it turned out is named... Well, you get to choose. But the default is Gala, which, again, is what I went with.
I have 3 kids. It's named after the kid. The other 2 haven't been named after yet. Its name is Storm, which works out because he's electricity themed. So I did it on purpose.
I went to the West Forest. I just went there and they let me in and everything. And I was like, whoa, I wonder how things play out differently if you go to the East Forest first. I'm guessing things play out basically the same, but like the cutscenes just have to be a bit different and stuff. But no, it turns out you have to go to the West Forest first.
Yep. Meanwhile, Songi goes to the East Vaz Forest by himself, which he's excited about in a scene that no one else sees, because he really wants to awaken the sleeping raw Seru there. Now, just because Gala is heading with us doesn't mean he's simply going to be nice to us. And it also doesn't mean he's going to be of much use, because, wow, this dude gets 2 attacks normally. And he's so behind in level, he sucks for a while.
Yeah, this guy's Master Teacher.
Yeah. You're introduced to him and someone can be like, all right, these are our best 2 monks. These guys knock everyone else out of the water. And he goes up and he's like, left hook. And that's it. That's his
like,
he's
he's like the same as Vaughn was at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
except Vaughn had 3 attacks! Vaughn had 3 attacks!
Yeah. And this was before he had a raw Seru, so you can't just say like the raw Seru is what makes him badass.
Mm-hmm.
It's silly.
Yep.
Speaking of his 2 attacks, though, I did notice something cool about the system is everybody can equip any weapon, but if you equip an off-model, off-brand, off-character weapon to the person, the using your weapon action, so left or right depending on the character, is bigger. It's like 1.5 times bigger, so you can't do as many attacks per turn if you have a bad weapon attached, which is cool and weird. And I only noticed because I of course you get Gala a little ways into the thing, and so I was like, okay, well, let me just give him all of Vaughn's old shit, and that actually made him worse, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyway, before leaving, Maya stops the group. She's been thinking about her family and Rimelm, but you'll have to wait to find out what she decided about that until after you get back from your mission. And I'm sure nothing bad will happen to her in the meantime.
It's fine.
It's fine. So, time to go to the West Vaz Forest, which has a lot of goodies inside. Especially if you start looking into those fallen over tree trunks, which you might not realize are hollow and lead to other parts of the map at first. And by that I mean, it took me a little bit to realize that was the case, but you do actually, I believe, need to do that in order to actually find the stuff you need to progress. Because after exploring...
Have you never played a JRPG before? Just wondering.
Rude.
All logs are empty. All logs are
like
pathways.
background. It looked like background to me. I didn't even know it was a log at first. Stop bullying me! After exploring and fighting, you'll come to a river that you can't cross, but luckily it's right next to bridge grass. So you just have to use some fertilizer you find, which will grow this young grass into a tree which crosses the river. Okay.
It's bridge grass. Do they not have bridge grass where you're from? I have bridge grass everywhere up here in the Midwest.
No bridge grass. Soon after that, you reach the Genesis tree, but sadly, it is too late. It's dying. And as it fades away, it gives the heroes a raw Seru egg, which, with the help of another tree, will hatch into a new armband. I mean, a new companion. Friendly jewelry buddy. Anyway, the egg is also an accessory that can reduce lightning damage if you equip it. But there's no time to equip that right now because there's an enormous shockwave sound coming from the monastery, where the map cuts over to it, and we see there's smoke or maybe mist coming out from inside of it.
Neither would be good.
Neither would be good. Heading back, we find the monastery's cool chambers for keeping the mist out are broken now. The doors are just wide open, and the entire place is full of mist and random encounters. Just entering the area, Gala is so aghast he runs off, leaving the party for now. Oh no, stop, come back. Anyway, elsewhere, we find Maya has become a monster. Seeing that, Noah immediately wants to rip the Seru to turn her off of her to turn her back, but Terra stops her. As it turns out, if a person with a Seru is turned into a monster for the mist, they and their Seru are so deeply bonded that removing it would kill them. The only way to help is to clear the mist, and the only way to do that is with the remaining Genesis tree. Before you handle that, there's a letter nearby, unfinished, written by Maya to her daughter. She tries to connect with her daughter from afar through words, before saying that, for now, she can't return home, because in the intervening years, she's become a mother figure to two of the orphan monks, Songi and Gala. They're about May's age, and she can't bear to leave them, not yet. After all, May has the whole village for her, and that's where the letter ends. Speaking of the mist being here and ruining heartfelt letters, there's one area that is actually free of the mist, for now at least. The kitchen with the shops and the safe statue, which is being kept safe thanks to door technology. Talking to Master Zopu about what happens, we learned that Songi betrayed them all, and that he did so with the help of a Seru himself. When Gala heard that, he ran off to confront his betraying sort of brother. You've got to go to the Eastern Vaz Forest now, and on the way out, Gala will show up and ask to join you again. Humble now, and able to admit that he actually needs Vaughn and Noah's strength in order to do this. So, slight improvement in his attitude. The Eastern Vaz Forest is mostly the same, except it has plants there that block paths that's called glass weeds or something? You need to find a hammer from a chest that you can use to break them so you can get past them to the stuff that you need to do.
It's weird.
It's weird. As you enter the forest, I do like the shattering sound effect when you use it, though. I like it. Mm-hmm. As you enter the forest, Gala stops the others, asking that if they find Songi, he should be the one to fight him, one-on-one. We give him that chance when we get to the Genesis tree, and this one is not dying, which is great. But what's not great is that Songi shows up, and up to this point, Zopu has suggested that maybe he's being controlled by his Seru. Gala floats the idea that the tree did something to him, but According to Songi, nope. There's no undue influence that's making him drink evil Kool-Aid. He's just being evil for love of the game. Well, actually, no. He's doing it because it got him a Seiru, which makes him stronger and faster and yada yada. Gala tries to fight him one-on-one like he asked before, and he gets his ass handed to him in a cutscene. And Songi's arrogant ass then laughs about it and leaves you to fight 2 boss monsters. They were tough-ish. Like, they didn't give me that bad of a time. The egg helps a lot.
I, at this point, had not noticed you can equip the egg. So this
Ooh,
battle
yeah.
was hard.
Yeah. Let's see here. Even after the fight, Songi's still there, taunting Gala for being weak and helpless, before running off and saying they'll fight again, if Gala lives that long. Oh, and Meta notices something about Songi's Seiru, but he won't say what it is. Anyway, our buddy Gala is dispirited by this defeat, but there's no time for that. It is time to revive the tree. Combined with the other 2 trees we've helped, it is enough to push away the mist, hiding the place where the mist generator is, so that's great. Even better, the egg hatches into a blue raw Seiru named Ozma, who picks Gala to wield him. After all of his humbling, Gala forswears the ways of his monastery and bonds with the blue bejeweled bauble, bearing it boldly in battle. Ozma tells Gala that raw Seiru don't exist to control humans, but to empower them. By submitting to a raw Seiru, a human is then entrusted with the destiny of this mighty piece of jewelry. Together, they can make a new future. Oh, and Meta and Terra each grow a level.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. That done, we go back to the monastery where Gala tells them what happened, and is then excommunicated for wearing an armband. Noah doesn't really understand what that means at first, but when she learns, she is very upset about it, but Gala accepts his punishment without any rancor. Noah promises that she and Vaughn will always be there for Gala, and it's at this point in the LP that I'm using for my notes that it included, right after that line, one of those, like, old unsmile emotes, because whoever wrote it really didn't like Gala.
Aww.
When Maya enters the conversation, Vaughn offers to take her back to Rim Elm, but she refuses. After all, the mist generator needs to be destroyed, and the region needs to be made safe again. If Vaughn isn't going to do it right now, she will. Awesome, honestly. So, yeah, gotta head out and go to the castle where that mist generator is. There is a ton of loot inside, and a bunch of Seiru that you can learn moves from, and that's a good thing, because it turns out Gala, ironically, was made for having a raw Seiru, because his spellcasting stat is great, and he has the most MP of anyone in the party. So make sure he gets some spells!
You'd think the big buff guy who is trained as a monk and was against using Seiru, you think he'd be the physical attacker?
Nope.
No. He's the mage.
No, he's the mage of the party. Also, you can find for him a tome that gives him a hyper art, one that is lightning themed. So, give him that. As you descend into the facility, you find yourself stopped by Songi, and once again he and Gala fight one-on-one, except now it's an actual fight, and we get to control him for it. Songi is not a joke, especially because it's a one-on-one fight. But as long as you made sure Gala learned a healing move, which I did, you'll probably be fine. You have enough MP to grind down Songi's health as long as you keep healing yourself. Also, it's just kind of cool seeing another dude as the enemy in a fight instead of the monster. Like, the monster sprites are very cool in this game. But this fight does feel special because you're fighting another human being. After losing, Songi is actually pretty happy. After all, he now has a strong rival he can contend with, and that means he'll actually be able to get more powerful by fighting him again and again and again every time they meet. It's some real Shonen Jump shit, and honestly, I kinda love the texture it adds to Songi. He's a really fun, reoccurring baddie, almost like Paula from Super Lesbian Animal RPG, but without the libertarian politics. Anyway, with that done, we head to the mist generator, which is huge. As they enter the room, they wonder how it is they're going to blow it up, but they decide that they have 3 humans and 3 raw Seiru between them. They'll think of something. Before they can, Zeto shows up, calling the mist eternal and perfect harmony, which, I mean, sure, if you just ignore what those words mean. He turns into a giant lobster creature to fight you, and fuck is he hard?
He's so fucking hard.
I wish he hadn't turned into a giant lobster.
Me too.
Because the giant lobster is hard.
Giant enemy crab is too
I was
hard.
considering the giant enemy crab joke, but I decided not to because I was like, it looks more like a lobster.
Yeah.
And then he hits you for 599 US hit points.
Yeah.
So I was playing this while watching TV with the kids yesterday, and facing a boss who's like, "Hey, next turn I'm going to one hit kill your entire party. Make sure you're guarding." Is not a good one to only be half paying attention to. So about two of my things, I was like, "Damn it, I should have been paying attention. This is on me, 100%."
Yeah, no.
You gotta be spiriting when that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he uses his turn to attack just one member of the party, if he doesn't miss, he hits like a truck and can take out most of your HP. But when he uses his turn to spend to charge up for his big wave spell the next turn, as you said, it can wipe your party if you're not using Spirit to guard against it. So just take the fight really slow and steady, keep healing, don't take any big chances, and you will eventually take him out. Before Zeto dies, he calls out to Prince Court to forgive him. So I'm guessing that's a sneak peek at who the next big boss is going to be, because this dude's literally the only command structure we've seen aside from giant sharp-toothed venom monster.
That venom monster was scary.
That venom monster was scary. With him gone, everyone raises their hands and attacks with their raw Seiru, and in a cutscene, the whole building generator turns into dirt, and the castle collapses. In the aftermath, Terra is crying for some reason, but when Noah asks why, she doesn't explain. All they'll point to instead is that there must be another generator to the north, and that's what we'll have to go next. But as our heroes leave the generator room, a crystal arises out of the wreckage and shatters. Huh. I have genuinely no clue what that's about. I look forward to finding out.
It looks like the same crystal as the raw Seru egg.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Which makes me think
it's hard to tell.
It might be related to Terra being sad. Like maybe Zeto had a raw Seru as well, and when we killed him, it killed the raw Seru, and Terra knew who they were.
I was thinking maybe like a raw Seru egg was being used to power the mist generator or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too.
Something. There's more going on here than we know, which of course it would be. We're still early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Back at the monastery, Zopu thinks that the Seiru that Songi's with cannot be a raw Seiru. There must be some sort of evil influence happening, and maybe, but I really hope that Songi's just a fight-happy asshole, because I think that's more interesting. Maya shows up and is glad the threat's gone, and is ready to finally head back to Rim Elm, which she feels is safe enough to do now because the generator's gone. Which, there is still some random encounters, but I guess she'll handle it fine? Next time, we'll be heading north to the Sebicus Islands. The way that word is spelled, I keep wanting to... I look at it and my brain goes, succubus? But no, the Sebicus Isles and the Caristo Kingdom. And I guess we'll figure out what we're doing then, because literally everything the game has set up at this point basically has been paid off almost.
Yeah. Or off into a new land, literally.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about our memoms, but first, some more music from this game.
Doopy doopy doo doopy 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 doop.
That's not the music from this game.
So I am basically, as was clear first episode when I didn't know that there were party members in this game, I'm unspoiled as hell with this game. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna call it now. Songi absolutely has a raw Seiru. Everyone's just in denial that a raw Seiru can be evil. And perhaps actually the bad guy side has maybe many Raw Saber who are shitty assholes who want to fuck over humanity. I don't know.
Who can say?
Who can say?
Man, I kind of don't want to guess what's going on, because I mean, I sort of realized this while reading the Poirot stories that I've been reading. I kind of don't want to try and figure out what's going on. I just want to sit back and let it happen and let the developments flow over me.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun in the aforementioned Brandon Sanderson novels, which are all mysteries as well. Having the like not thinking about the mystery, just following along, and then like 30 seconds before they reveal it, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And like that is amazing. And I don't want to ever not have that.
That is truly like one of the best feelings. I adore that feeling of like just before a thing happens in a piece of media, it hitting you. Like, oh god, there's like an example in my brain, but I'm like, I truly cannot remember, even though it like is so bone deep. I think it happened years ago, but it's still solidly planted in my soul.
Speaking of things that are solidly planted in my soul, so in Japanese, they're
Yes.
a very, very contextual language. And
Yes.
so one of the things that they do in Japanese is they will show that a person is responding to what just happened, and your only idea of what they're thinking is context clues. And they will do this by going ... in in the text box.
Yeah.
Yes.
At this point
Says nothing.
At this point of my entire life, I have picked up on that context, and so I don't even think of a verbally spoken ... as anything weird until the localizers of Legend of Legaia were like, well, that doesn't work in English, so we're going to replace every ... with parentheses and what the person is thinking. And so it's like either parentheses silence or parentheses quiet contemplation
Or yeah, this week they add parentheses silent contemplation, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. The title of episode 3 is Silent Contemplation.
Oh, it's so good. It reminds me of when we were watching Charmed, we were watching with subtitles on because we're not monsters, and the white lighter teleport sound was subbed as whimsical chiming, which is very good. ... whimsical chiming. I did just find out that MooOS doesn't come with an image viewer, so I don't know what screenshots I took this week. But
oh man, you can do that in Onion OS.
You can do that in Onion OS, and I think there's probably a way to do it in MooOS. I just have only recently picked up MooOS.
Yeah.
And it is definitely for weirdo freaks who like to tinker, and I'm one of those. I just haven't done a lot of tinkering on it yet.
Man, I'm trying to remember specific things other than Silent Contemplation that I really enjoyed this week. Problem is that I played it a while ago because I love this game and I was really excited to play it. But yeah, game's good.
Yeah, I played most of the segment like 4 or 5 days ago, so a lot of it's not fresh in my brain, but I only did the mist generator earlier tonight. And it was fun. This was a really solid section of the game. I was like, wait, we're doing all of this? Because this is a lot of plot. But I'm glad we did. It was a solid section of stuff. As was clear in the notes, my favorite part of this game is Kulu becoming Songi because I love that every time he shows up, he's laughing.
He sure doesn't try to not act like a villain.
Yeah. One of my favorite things from this week is the characterization of Gala and Songi, because Gala shows up and he's like, oh shit, you have Seru. Well, fuck you guys. I don't even want to talk to you because I don't believe in that shit. And then Songi is like, hey, that's a Seru, right? Can you give it to me? I'm like, no. And actually, it's a raw Seiru who goes, whatever, it's a Seiru. I want one. I'm going to do whatever I can to get one. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. And then when he's like, hey, I'm going to go over unsupervised to the place with the raw Seiru, we're all like, that's a good idea. See ya.
Yeah, no, it's I really like that too, and I don't know why this is where my brain is going, but Songi's energy reminds me of at the beginning of the play Othello, literally the first scene, Iago the villain shows up and immediately does an aside monologue about that he's evil, and this is why he's evil. And I'm just gonna rub this in your face, audience, just to start with, so you understand the rest of this play. And it's like Songi's like that every scene, and he doesn't have any of Iago's like intelligence or like oh, I'm gonna manipulate. No, he's just like he's a punchy dude, and he
Yeah.
cannot stop doing asides about how evil he is, and I love it.
So, you went to classic literature. I was going to say this is what if Vegeta was the Pokemon rival?
Wow.
That's really accurate. Except
That
Songi's
too.
really tall. Songi's really tall, and Vegeta's a little shorty.
But yeah, I willingly let this super evil thing that we all know is bad into me just so I can beat you in a fight is literally part of the plot.
It's the
of
Boo
Dragon Ball Z.
Saga. Fun fact, one of my trashiest takes, Boo Saga is my favorite Z Saga.
It's a good saga.
It's a good
All
Say it, man.
all Dragon Ball is good except for the parts that aren't.
Except for parts that are. But yeah, no. The dragging Gala's weak ass around for a while was definitely hard. But the LP thing I'm using, the written thing for my notes, spelled this out very plainly in their opinion, and I think they were very correct about this, which was that getting to the point where it's just Songi versus Gala, it feels like a turning point in the game because he has been such a weak, like, completely not pulling his own weight in the team. And then it's a solo fight, and like you need to win the solo fight, and in the process, it kind of feels like, oh damn, Gala's come so far. Look at him now,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. It's also just very weird that it feels like one of the strongest monks at the monastery needed to go through this whole arc in order to like not suck.
I remember what I took pictures of.
What did you take pictures of?
I took a screenshot of the realistic human lips in the lip from the Lippian monsters at the beginning of the season.
I hate it.
Every single time they do the thing, not only does it use a picture of realistic human lips as part of the attack, it starts with them like opening their mouths like suggestively and leaning right into the camera, and then those lips become realistic human lips, and it is very, very upsetting. And it doesn't help that the then will paralyze Vaughn, and I'll struggle through the fight after that.
God, I don't like being paralyzed by the realistic human lips.
It's a bad time.
I have no thoughts on the human lips. It did not bother me.
It was highly upsetting every single time for me. I could not get past it. So you know how last week I said I was really, really bad at finding the mystic arts for Noah.
Yes.
Turns out I wasn't that bad. I just felt like I was that bad. She had a whole full page full when I started this week, the same as Vaughn did. For some reason, I guess I just felt like I wasn't getting it. I literally have one move for Gala, and it's the one that they give you from the book. I have in the two from the two different tutors. So I have three. And
well, for a large part of this week, you would need to spirit to get even his basic combos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks
until he levels up quite a bit.
Yeah, I suck real bad at finding out mystic arts. I don't think they're called mystic arts. That's a Tales thing.
There's hidden arts, which are the ones you just find, and then the hyper arts, and then there's other kinds of arts we haven't gotten to yet, I believe.
Yeah. Mystic Arts is the hidden moves that you can do in Tales games that aren't in the UI. They're like
Oh
fatalities.
yeah, I remember those. I always played that game with the characters on automatic, so I never found I played Tales of Symphonia just watching Lloyd and his buddies beat the shit out of monsters, and I had a good time.
Uh, Speaking of which, the auto battle in this game is decent.
It is.
It's not fantastic, but you can hold down the button and it'll just put you on auto battle, and so it's a really easy like I will not die to these lips. I do not have to worry about fighting these lips. I'm just going to hold down A, and it's going to do the auto battle for me, so I can focus on something else. Which also reminds me, this game is one hand friendly. It does the
Yay!
L1 for A, L2 for B. It's not those buttons. We're on PlayStation, you know what I mean. And and the only thing you can't do is open up the menu. And so as I was playing, I was doing it one handed while watching TV with the kids, and I would have to go heal, and I would have to reach over and hit the triangle button. But otherwise, it was a grand old time.
Noah is so strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love her. She's the best character.
What's that art called where she like runs up the person? It's so strong.
It's really good.
Kick?
I don't remember what it's called, but it's so strong.
Yeah.
I like this game's mechanics a lot. I like this game's graphics a lot. I like this game's music a lot. I like this game's story pretty good.
Yeah. I would love a retranslation patch for this game, like the one that just came out for Legend of Dragoon, but it also doesn't quite need it in the like everything is translated kind of poorly, but it works for it. Like you like vibe with it. It's like this feels. I think the reason I don't mind this one is a kung fu story, and it feels like a kung fu movie's localization.
Oh, totally, yeah.
And so everything is like way too basic of a way to say what they're trying to say. There's like no nuance in anything that they're saying, and it just kind of like hashtag silent whatever. I mean,
hashtag silent compliments.
Yes. And yeah, it's cool. I would love to see what the like well-written poetry-ish version of this game would be, but I also kind of like the real stupid one that we have right now. It's got a lot of charm. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Anyone else have anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, then that will do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you can get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gadabout tier gets access to our bonus feed, where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the shows that are backer only. At $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets the above, but I also read out their names at the end of every episode, like this. Shoutouts to It's Clear Time, Frost Terror, Dragon Slayer 19, Flores, Kaldron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and JFro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a one-sentence shout-out to whatever they're passionate about. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. And then shouts to Vimke, who says, she shook out her big black church robe and hung it from the hook. Having done this every day for over a decade, she no longer needed light to do it by. And shouts to Carr, who is a dentist, so he isn't plugging a website, but rather your own mouth, and he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.